Hello and welcome back to Feminine Initiate Podcast. I'm your host, Jess West. I hope you're having an incredible day so far. My inspiration for this episode came from a virtual summit that I co-facilitated yesterday called Soulful Summit, The Energetics of Wholeness. I did this with 4 other amazing soul-led healing practitioners. And yesterday's topic was all about gratitude. Not the surface level gratitude where we affirm that we're grateful for something. We can either say it out loud or say it in our head, but there's a disconnect because we don't actually feel that grateful feeling within us. Yesterday, we talked about how gratitude is quite literally a magnet for our desired results. Yes, we can be grateful for a future state, for things that haven't yet become our physical reality, for things that we desire. And I'm going to share how we can do that in a minute. But first, I want to remind us what true gratitude is and isn't. Gratitude is both a feeling and an emotion, but it's not a thought. To be in a state of gratitude, we need to feel it, not just say it. And we know that we attract based on our feeling. So if we're feeling lack, bitterness, frustration, envy, resentment, we want to turn towards gratitude to allow us to shift our internal state, because otherwise we're simply going to be attracting more lack, more bitterness, more situations and circumstances that will frustrate us. So we really want to tune into our feelings. However, going from a feeling of lack to gratitude right away could really be difficult to shift, depending on the intensity of the negative emotion. And this is why I feel like gratitude can have a negative connotation in the personal development space, just like toxic positivity, because it's often overlooked. It's seen more so as an intellectual or mental thing as opposed to a holistic experience that needs to be felt. You may have heard before, maybe it was from a well-meaning person in your life, or maybe it was something that came across your social media feed. You should be grateful for all of the things. But what we should really be doing, I'm doing it now, is we need to stop shooting all over ourselves and just allowing ourselves to feel how we want to feel. Gratitude isn't something we can pressure ourselves into. No positive emotion is. It's something we want to nurture within us. We can't just jump from a bitter feeling to feeling grateful in one breath. That's like the opposite of the same pole, but we need to go through a whole bunch of emotions before we get there. Let me give you an example. When I was in the early stages of my recovery days after my serious car accident, and I was a dependent for 3 years at that time, this may have been maybe about 1.5 years in. I was living with my mom at her boyfriend's place, and the house was a little bit out in the country. And because I had no vehicle, I felt really isolated and lonely. I went from living in a 2-bedroom apartment to living out of a 1-bedroom, like not even an apartment, literally 1 guest bedroom. I also had my dog with me. She was a husky shepherd, so a big enough dog, but she wasn't allowed anywhere in the house out of fear that she would scratch the floors. So we were both confined into this small guest bedroom that had my bed, all of my clothes. It was also my mom's office, so it had a computer desk in there too. But it had my food pantry, it had the dog bed, the dog food, like all of the supplies all cramped in this room for 3 years. Or 1.5 years at that point. And I had a friend over one day, and I was telling her a little bit about my frustration, and I was saying that I can't wait to get my own place. And she said, Jess, you should just be grateful that you can stay here. And I also wasn't just staying there, by the way, because I was paying 1/3 of the utility bills that was coming out of my accident benefits because, again, I didn't have a job at that time during that recovery period. But anyways, that's not the point. The point is that there was a lack of understanding there of what I was actually feeling. And I feel like that's a big thing. I mean, can we actually really understand anybody? Truly. Because to understand that we actually need to know everything that they've experienced, exactly how they're internalizing their own reality. How can we possibly understand Can we sympathize for them? Can we empathize? Can we try our best to have a clear picture from our point of view of what their experience could be like? But to say that we truly understand and then we start shitting on people is just not the way to spread positivity in the world. Anyways, so this conversation ended up just making me feel frustration and guilty for not being grateful for what I had. I was feeling like I should be grateful. Why can't I be grateful? And that was just making me feel even more frustrated that I couldn't cultivate those feelings. And so what was I doing? Energetically, I was just pushing myself even further away from gratitude. What I now know is that in that moment, all I needed to do was return back to the present moment. I needed to acknowledge safety, my security, and my abundance in that moment. Just return to a state of neutrality so that I can reach a state of acceptance, and then I can begin inviting feelings of gratitude. It's a process. And so let your feelings guide you. And I know this can be counterintuitive in today's world because society has really told us to follow logic, follow the rational logic. Don't trust your heart. Feelings could be fleeting. But our logical mind is only rooted in the past. And so if we think that we can think our way into a new life without considering how we feel in the process, we're never going to get there. We are seriously mistaking ourselves. All we're ever really after anyways is a feeling, not the external things. And only once we cultivate the desired feeling within us will the desired results present themselves in our life as a consequence of us holding our desired feeling state. The outside world is the effect, and our internal state is the cause. This is the basic law of cause and effect. And so with this understanding, if we want to become a magnet for our future desired results, we're going to want to express gratitude for them in this present moment so that we attract them right now in this current moment. We don't want to attract it in a future state. We want to be specific and clear with what it is that we want. How we feel is the catalyst for change in our life. And remember, if something wasn't meant for you, you wouldn't have the desire on your heart. What you want wants you. And how you feel, you attract. Have you ever walked into a room or a space or somewhere that you haven't been for years? You've been there before, but it's been like years or months since you've been there. And you walk in there now, and maybe you're with someone, whoever you're currently with. In your current reality, you're there. But in your mind, you're scanning the room and you're recalling the last time you were there. Maybe you can still see who you were with the last time, replaying those memories. You can see exactly where it was that you were sitting, and you can even recall the conversation. And while you're envisioning all of this, you're still there, just there in the present moment. Maybe you're even having a conversation with whoever you're currently there with. You're doing this all simultaneously. And my point is that you can be somewhere physically and be somewhere completely different in your imagination. You're doing this already by default. And you want to do something similar with your future desired results. Let's say you want to do renovations in your home. Maybe it's in your kitchen, maybe it's in your living room, a bathroom, whatever it is. Can you imagine walking into that space and instead of seeing what your house currently looks like, see what you would love to have it look like with the renovations complete, and allow yourself to feel like it is already done. You're currently living, you're currently walking in to this completely renovated space. How good would you feel? How grateful would you be for these renos? Or maybe you are wanting a new vehicle. And so the next time you're driving, Can you envision your new car? Can you see in your mind's eye maybe the emblem of the make of the vehicle on the steering wheel? Maybe you could see the dashboard. You can even see the hood of the vehicle. This is all the new one that you desire. Can you see it now? Can you feel what it would feel like to be driving in this new, beautiful, luxurious vehicle? How good would you feel? How grateful would you be to have that new vehicle? You can embody that feeling right now, no matter what car you're driving right now. You can see it on your mind's eye. You can create that reality for yourself. A last example, maybe you're launching a new program for your business and you're hosting your first launch and you would love to see 100 people in your Zoom room show up to your launch. Well, no matter the amount of attendees that actually show up, can you still envision seeing 100 screens on that Zoom screen, or seeing, the 100, whatever number sign on the amount of participants? And can you feel as you would presenting in front of 100 people? Doesn't matter how many people are actually physically present, but feel as though you are presenting in front of 100 people. How amazing would that feel? How grateful would you be for each new participant? And so you can create whatever you want on the screen of your mind as you are living through your current reality. And you can feel those feelings of gratitude. You can express gratitude for the future state. The very idea that we can only be grateful for things that we already have in our physical world is a lie that will keep us in the same place. We want to feel as though our current reality is already here. This is the basic, principle of manifestation, and gratitude amplifies that, because gratitude assumes that you already have that thing. Your brain will assume that if you are feeling grateful for this, it is because you already have it. Now, this idea of using your mind's eye to envision your future desires and kind of overlapping it on top of what you can see on your physical reality, this often presents a question or even a hesitation that if I'm always envisioning a future state, does that mean I'm being ungrateful for what I currently have? And I really want to address this because this thought often ends up leaving us feeling guilty. And when I hear of people experiencing this or having these thoughts, and I've had this before on multiple occasions, but my mind immediately goes to something that Bob Proctor said. He said that you are God's highest form of creation. God's gift to us is more talent and ability than we could ever use in this lifetime. And our gift to God is to develop that talent and ability as much as we can in this lifetime. I now believe that we came here to expand and experience all that we can be. Wanting more, desiring more, continuously reaching for more is part of our very nature. And look at nature. Look at a vine plant, for example. Plant a vine in your garden and it will spread. It will soon spread until it's taken up your entire garden. It just grows and grows and grows, and the vine has no guilt or shame for wanting to take up more and more space. Nothing in nature prevents itself from growing, except for us, except for humans. More is what we came here for. We have been gifted this incredible life to explore and relish in and become increasingly more of ourselves, bigger and better and grander versions of ourselves. Let's use it. This is why we decided to come. And our brain doesn't know the difference between what is currently happening in our physical world and what is happening in our imagination. It's all happening right now to our brain. And so when we're expressing gratitude for a future state, we're expressing that in this moment. Our brain thinks that it's in this present moment. And so we're feeling good. And isn't that the whole point of life? And feeling good is the key to manifestation. Feeling our desires fulfilled in the present moment, not in the future state. so that we attract right now. When we feel good, that is how we become a magnet for the external things that represent that similar vibration. And we are going to feel moved into taking action and doing things in a certain way that will attract, that will bring our desires towards us that much faster when we come from that good feeling state. And when we make gratitude a priority in our life, everything just gets better and better and better. And so to wrap up, gratitude creates a powerful vibration that magnetizes our desires towards us. And it's just overall goodness in our life. So pay attention to how you feel within your body when you're expressing gratitude. If you are feeling anything less than, if you're feeling anger, resentment, anything, then forget the gratitude for a moment. Just forget about it and focus on returning back to the present moment and allow yourself to cultivate the gratitude at your own pace. This is your beautiful God-gifted journey, just yours. There is no rush. You are right where you need to be. So accept what it is that you're feeling. Accept this phase of your journey that you are in. And if you are ready to magnetize your current results, then reaching for gratitude is one of the best ways that we can do this. Thanks so much for being here with me today. I hope this episode resonated with you. And if it did, and you know of someone else who can benefit, then please share it with them. It would also mean the world to me if you would take the time to leave a rating and review of the show. It'll also help me reach more people with this information. Thanks again, and until next time, be empowered. Thanks for joining me. If you enjoyed this conversation, don't forget to hit subscribe so that you never miss an episode, and I'll see you next time.